morning, my name is Cameron Grant. I'm going to be discussing The Jungle, written by Upton St. Clair. I actually chose this article because it had a profound effect on me at a young age. My father read this book and also watched a show on the History Channel that linked it to the fast food industry. So from then on, I was actually banned from eating fast food, and I didn't eat fast food until I was 16 and working in a fast food restaurant, which is kind of ironic. But back to the passage. It does two things really well. It talks about the industry back in the late 19th century, early 20th century. And then it also talks about the people affected by it. And I'm going to be talking about the industry first. The meat packing plants had leaky roofs and a rat infestation problem, which also led to dung being on the piles of meat, which is pretty appalling when we're sending this out to the American public. Also, ham was pretty interesting back then. It had a 3-level grading system. It had first grade, which was the best, second grade, which was a little worse, and then third grade, which sometimes was spoiled meat that they were sending out and selling at markets. And when they weren't doing that, they were sending it to free lunch programs and feeding it to the youth of the nation, which is kind of horrible. And then later on, due to research, they realized that the ham bone was actually making the ham spoil quicker, so they found a way to extract the bone. And after doing that, there was only 1 grade left, and that was first grade. So that was kind of beneficial. They would also do something which I found a little disturbing, which they would name something really nice and sweet, like a California ham, which just sounds delicious. But it was actually the shoulders and joints of the hogs. And then they would have something called a boneless ham, which is just kind of interesting. But it was mostly the odds ends of the pork and also pork casings, which is kind of gross. Next, sausage. Sausage back then was made up of a compiled meat mixture. Some of that was spoiled ham, some of it was actually good meat, some of it was actually exported from Europe because it wasn't deemed servable there, and it was also moldy meat. Along with that was poisoned dead rats that were shoveled into the grinders, and the workers were paid too little to really care to really take them out. Also, they had an inadequate water supply at these factories, so workers would wash their hands and their faces before eating with the water that was later used for the sausage making process. When we were sending that out to the American public to eat for breakfast, I'm surprised more people didn't get sick from this. Also, when meat fell on the floor, they didn't even think about it twice, they picked it up and kept using it. Next, I'm going to be talking about the meat packers themselves. They were tired from being overworked, and they were also sick and depressed because of their working conditions. It was also dimly lit, and like I said, there was a rat problem, and you had to deal with all of that mess. They were also paid low wages on top of it, and they were also afraid to leave the system because they couldn't find another job, and if they were to leave, they might not be able to come back because somebody would just take their spot in this horrible machine. The passage talks about a family in particular. The father was a struggling alcoholic, and the child of this family was also very sick. He had such diseases as the measles and the whooping cough. Luckily, this book led to legal action that had regulations passed down, and also government organizations, such as the USDA and the FDA, to put regulations on our food, so no longer this could happen. Thank you for your time.